Welcome back to Lab Saturday morning. We're getting relatively serious with the front of the march. Let's have a look. Holy hell. There's more brake caliper and intercooler radiator than car. So, previous video talked about the bonnet, the windy, rainy, protecty thingy that sits over here. That was straight. The rest of it wasn't. So the rest of it has been fired. It's outside. Bye. We might use some of that, most of it, whatever, later on. But it's time to reinvent things a little bit, I think. I've got a bit of time. I had a measure of how much carbon fibre I've got. It's not really enough to do the bonnet. I can do 2 layers. I've got a meter, which will do this easily. It's not even as big as it looks, and it doesn't look big. A meter by 2.75, so we could do 2 layers of the actual bonnet skin and we'd be out. We might be able to get some more on Wednesday, I think. So, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad idea, but in the meantime, I can do some other things. And like I say, taking all these bits and pieces off. And one of the things that really I've just been a bit lazy about, been using the factory tow hook. Have a guess how much they weigh? It's not crazy amounts. But if we start adding all these things up, so that's quite heavy really. Just a good spot for that. And we've had this front, let's call it a crash bar, which is a bit, I mean, it's got the crumple zones in the ends there, that they're designed to concertina. So when you have a crash, they crumple up like an accordion, right? And this beastie doesn't really do a lot apart from hold the tow hook, which is living by the trampoline somewhere now. And I did actually attach a couple of our splitter things onto here. I don't know how much this puppy weighs. It might even kill our kitchen scales, which only go, hang on, they only go to 5 kgs. We don't need that on the front of the car. Someone had suggested in the past that, you know, if you have a bump into a wall, it might save the radiator or whatever. But the reality is, if I have a bump into a wall, I shouldn't have had a bump into the wall. And it's probably going to damage... how's this for garden art? It's probably going to damage this anyway. Definitely will. If you've damaged that part that's on the scales. This has been crushed in about 1.5 feet, so your day's done anyway. So yep, that can go over there with that. These headlights, I have weighed these in the past and I've discounted it. I've said, nah, it's not worth mucking around with, they're not that heavy. I'm not going to throw that on the lawn. It'll dig holes in the lawn and I'll get yelled at. I'm getting away with using the scales at the moment. They're not that heavy, but there's 2 of them and we're never going to make them work. I mean, I've literally left the bulbs in there, so I could wire them up and we could do something like, not night speed drag wars because we're not road legal, but there might be another one, or twilight sessions at the racetrack, etc. But at this point in time, I don't think we're ever going to do anything like that. So there's a heap of weight, there's a bit of weight that can come out of that. We can probably pull 400 or 500 grams a piece, so that's another kg. So there's 4 kgs. Hang on, I've lost my maths. Yep, 4 kgs by the time you have that thing there, the headlights. Even more than 4 kgs, and include the tow hook, which is there somewhere. There's a plethora of stuff in here that's quite, I think that might even be 2 mil, or it might be 1.6 mil, can't remember, but it doesn't need to be. It can be carbon fibre. Same with this one on this other side, same with this here. That has got power steering pump mounted on the back of it. Like I say, that's probably going to go, and we'll put a pump on the engine, which will be lighter than the electric one anyway. So yeah, things like that. Get carbon fibre out, make more things like that. That piece there weighs almost nothing. That piece there will be, I don't know, 40, 50 grams. Let's have a look. Don't smash the head like that. Here's an example. That's actually got a piece of aluminium hanging off the end of it. Is it going to stand up right? Not really. 200 grams for a pretty big, pretty reasonable size sort of panel. Here's something significantly smaller. 200 grams. So aluminium, maybe at a guess, that sort of size panel compared to that one that's under that one. Aluminium stuff, twice the weight of the carbon fibre, give or take. You know, it's just ballpark rough figures. Lots and lots of things to do. Righty up, better get cracking on. It's running out of morning already. Look at that. Well, that escalated quickly. Might as well take the diff out, I guess, in the bottom subframe. No sense in stopping there. A few things I want to do while I'm at it. There's people are going to say they need to be the same length. It doesn't really matter, it's hydraulic. There's a brake pipe for the right-hand driver's side that goes from here. Comes all the way back. Past the master cylinder, which is there, and the T is over there. But anyway, comes all the way back to here, along there, around there, along there, down there, across there, down again, under there, right. It used to go right where the drive shaft was, so if the drive shaft came up too far, you'd crimp your brake line, which is genius, but never mind. Nissan would never have had that problem originally. That's just my design that's caused that. And then it goes up there, and it goes along there, and it goes, you can't even see it, it goes back to there. So that's kind of stupid, because we can just go through that hole there, and just run along here, and even shift that T somewhere. Let's just bolt it onto one of these or something like that, and then we can actually make them both the same length and shorten up a whole heap of stuff and things, and it'll be better. Other side's not a heck of a lot better. It does pretty much the same thing. And then it goes all the way back to there. We can possibly even use this mount, just go through that hole there. So might as well redo some brake lines while we're at it. I've got Bundy tube. I think I'm looking at some of it on the shelf over there, but that's probably a bit big. Oh yeah, there might be some there. It's a little bit better. Could have put that there. Would have been more balanced for those that worry about having the pipes equal length. Couldn't be bothered. It's actually in a better spot there as far as being able to view it from behind the fuel tank and make sure it's not leaking, or even get access to it and tighten it up if it is leaking. Managed to use one factory clamp. Need to put some more along here. That's something we'll deal with later on. I'm thinking about painting the whole car, to be honest, and it might go red, and I'll do those with the plastic clamps with rivets, so there's no sense in doing that now. Might change the fitting on the end of these hose so it actually has the proper locating clip into those mounts there. Remove the other brackets that were at the front there. I mean, it weighs nothing, right, but it's just, why have them there if you're not needing them? Actually, there's a, yeah, you can feel it. That's the conglomeration of pipe that was in the car that really didn't need to be there. Got away with about half that amount of pipe, so just tidier, easier to work on, looks better, weighs a tiny little bit less, but that wasn't really what it was all about. Okay. All my stuff's getting a wash out there. Oh well, whatever. Removed a few riv nuts that didn't need to be there, just because they don't need to be there, get rid of them. We'll deal with a few other things while we're here. Plastic clamps that don't need to be there, etc. Because that is lighter than that. What a cussy funt, eh? Oh, that was loud. Well, we've run out of day, and we've jigged next to nothing, and it's pouring down with rain. All this stuff's wet. and even the floor's wet. That's how wet this stuff is. But I've given this a tidy up. It's cleaner. I actually redid the welds on the front. They were looking pretty atrocious. Did those when I was in a bit of a rush, I guess, in a bit of a state. And it didn't come out all that great. Someone just commented that I need welding lessons, but whatever. Actually had welding lessons a number of years ago. So all we've achieved really is we've shortened up this brake system plumbing, which is great. What was in there was junk. I don't know, 10 grams there, not much, but it's better plumbing, right? So that's cool. I've made that a lot tidier. A couple of grams there, 5 grams, nothing. Cleaned things up, redid those welds, replaced the hardware, and that's about it. Chopped off a couple of tabs, repaired a little accident that was over here from, I think I was trying to chop off a stud and cut the blooming strut tower. Good on ya. But that's fixed anyway. So tomorrow I guess I'll do those proper mounts for the strut tower support, chassis support, bonnet holdy thingy that I was talking about. And I've been looking at a way of reinforcing these strut towers because they're not that great. Obviously Nissan March is not a race car, never was supposed to be. It's supposed to have a bit of structure through here, but it can't fit anymore with the big wheels and tyres that we run. So that's what that's about, is to add some guts to the outside edge of it here, but I really feel like it needs something else a bit more down the front here or something. I'll figure something out. Doesn't help with holes in it, does it? It's probably just going to be a folded angle, to be honest, and we'll just come forward as far as we can before we hit the headlight and make sealing off the engine. It's not an engine bay anymore, but the front area of the car, make it easier to seal that off. That'll do. There's that blimmin' famous joke, the front fell off. It certainly did. So I guess if we don't put that back in, we've taken 3 or 4 kgs out today, so that's a good result as far as weight per day that we've been running at. So yeah, she's all blimmin', all brake calipers and diff from here, isn't it? Almost looks like the back of a car, except that's a dead giveaway, that's not. Rightio, that'll do. Cheers, boy.